everyone. Welcome to the Envision South 13th Street Together. We will be talking about recommendations this evening. And Alderman Spiker, if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much, Amy, and wanted to just thank all the partners here. Wanted to thank DCD Planning for all their hard work. Definitely want to thank Crisol. Business Improvement District is an essential part of this, and 16th Street, MMSD, all our partners. This is really exciting. This isn't 13th Street isn't in my district. It's Alderwoman Dmitrievich's, but she's been kind enough to involve me in this process, and I was glad to see Diane from Holt Park Neighborhood Association, just a little west of here, involved. So just wanted to lend my support to what you're doing tonight and encourage open communication about how we can keep the vision going forward for 13th Street, because from what I've seen, it looks like an exciting vision. So thanks for having me here tonight.
Thank you. All right, so like we've mentioned, we are live streaming on Facebook. So hello everyone there. And you're welcome to come and join us on Zoom as well, so that you can participate in the breakout sessions in a little bit. So tonight we will go over the Envision South 13th Street project, what the project is, where we are in the process, and what we're going to continue talking about. And then we'll provide an introduction to our new draft recommendations website, which is interactive, and it gives you a chance to review all the recommendations that we've come up with based on all the feedback that we've heard to date. And so we'll explain how to do that. And it's really a call to action to go check out all the information on there. And we'll go over a few of those recommendations in more detail tonight during some breakout sessions, which I'll get into in a little bit. And then we'll talk about next steps. So you're all in Zoom. Please mute yourself while you're here. It seems like everybody is. I think everybody's used to Zoom at this point. And if you want to add your name, your neighborhood organization next to your name, you're welcome to. If you have any questions during the presentation now, just add them to the chat, and we will try to watch Facebook as well and bring those comments in. All right. So just a bit of a review. The city of Milwaukee is divided into 14 different comprehensive area plans. These guide future development with land use, design, and catalytic project recommendations. The planning area we're looking at here is mostly within the Southwest Side area plan. It's also a little bit within the near South Side or Southwest Side area plan, and a little bit in the near South Side plan. Both of those were completed in 2009. Also, greatly impacting and influencing the recommendations of this plan is the KK River Neighborhood Plan, which was also completed around the same time. The planning area encompasses 3 different aldermanic districts as well: Alderman Spiker's district, Alderwoman Dmitrievich's district, and a small bit on the north side of Alderman Perez's district. So in terms of the planning process, it's a strategic action plan, which means it dives down into details. So we're looking to recommend specific projects. These might be on the ground projects, or they're more of programming type projects, building relationships. We intend to then prioritize these projects with your help, identify timelines for implementation, identify responsible parties, and define the next steps for that implementation. In terms of why we're doing this, there's been a lot of activity in this area. There's some significant investments that are happening through the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, a lot of activity going on with the Creasel Corridor bid, a lot of activity within community groups, and a lot of concerns with some things in the neighborhood around reckless driving and things like that, and discussions and needs to really bring everybody together and figure out how to reinvigorate the South 13th Street and Oklahoma, the Creasel corridors, and really connect them to the neighborhood around. So we launched this process with a survey with the help of some community partners, even before the official city launch of the plan, back right before COVID hit in February, which kind of extended our process and delayed our launch out a bit. And we ended up having the survey through November. We officially launched the plan on Facebook Live. First time we've done that back in August. And then we had a series of topic-based meetings based on the survey results, some one-on-one meetings, some meetings with plan advisory group members, some business engagement, outreach on social media, and student engagement at a few schools as well. So that was roughly through the beginning of March. We've had some drafting and stakeholder meetings, which basically means taking all the information gathered previous to this and putting them into the plan recommendations that you'll see in a bit. And so we're here with a public meeting and website launch, and then we're going to continue writing, checking in, and laying out the document. You won't hear from us publicly as much here, but we'll be working hard, and you're welcome to reach out. And then we'll be introducing it for adoption probably in July, and we'll come back to all of you with a public meeting sometime in July and August, and looking to adopt the plan in the fall. So our questions for you, we've got all these draft recommendations. They're just short little summaries of each of them at this point, so that weren't overwhelming, but we want to know, do we get these right? Are there recommendations in here that just don't make sense for this community? Are there recommendations that you think need to be altered a bit? Do you love some of them? We want to know from all of you, how can we make them better? Anything to add, take away, and really how to stay involved with the process. So with the Envision South 13th Street Together recommendations website, we do have a main city website, which is milwaukee.gov/Envision 13th Street. And there's a Spanish version of that website as well. And so you can go and check out all the previous videos and meeting information there as well. So this is just focused on all the recommendations that have come out of the process so far. So you come to the main landing page, and then there's 8 different subsites that divide all the recommendations into categories. So the first one we'll click on, it's the draft vision and guiding principles. So we've come up with, based on all the feedback, 3 draft vision statements, think of these as kind of the headline for the plan. We ask you to rate them, and we'll pick whichever one rates the best, or combine 2 if they tie. And then here we've got a set of draft guiding principles, which are basically intended to help guide how these different projects are implemented in the long run. So we developed these out of all the public input. Let's go back to the homepage and then go to economic development. And so there's a variety of recommendations in here, and you can offer comments in here. And then tonight, we're also going to talk about visual preferences in terms of the type of development you'd like to see. So one of the breakout groups will include this as well. So you'll get to go in and dive in and talk about what you'd like to see in terms of development. And then we've got community building. And so here we've got a map of the community assets. And so you can comment, check out, what we've heard in terms of different community assets around the area. Let us know if there's anything missing from this. We really want to make sure that when we're looking at connections in the community, we know where people are going and what they love about it. And then another one of the topics that we're going to talk about in the breakout rooms tonight is community events. We heard a strong desire to want to have an event that kind of connected neighborhoods and connected the bid. So we'd like to hear more about what you'd like to see at that type of event to help inform implementation. And there's some other recommendations on here that you can go and check out and add comments to as well. That's streets and transportation. So this one is pretty long, but I know that reckless driving is a big issue in this area and all over the city. And so we're asking you, we heard a lot about different intersections and issues and corridors to help prioritize which ones you really think need improvements. This doesn't mean that they're going to be the first intersection improved, but it really helps us prioritize where to seek funding in different grants. You'll see Oklahoma and Morgan are colored in blue and not included in these lists because there are 2 separate near-term projects related to those 2 corridors. Let me scroll down, mark off top 5 corridors for you. Here are comment boxes for the Morgan Avenue Complete Streets project. and the Oklahoma Multimodal Safety Improvements Project, which will kick off later this year. The Morgan Avenue Complete Streets Project is an active project that will be implemented this year, and I'll be sending any comments received here over to DPW to inform that process. And then another one of our breakout rooms tonight will discuss proposed bike facilities. So we've got some ideas for neighbor ways for both pedestrian and bicycle improvements throughout the area. And so we'll run through each of these, kind of get some feedback. Here are descriptions of each of those, and you can rate which ones, what you think of each one. There's also some renderings that came out of some outreach back in 2018 for different types of improvements as well. Inform this, and then some additional recommendations here that you can make comments on. I know this is a lot, but we do encourage you to go explore. There's a lot here because we've received a lot of great input from all of you. Then here's the general safety one. We will also be discussing this in one of the breakout rooms tonight under the general safety category. In terms of what the question we have is, what would folks like to see in terms of a safety education campaign? Recommendations for block groups in a neighborhood ambassador program came from previous plans. We'd like to understand if the community would like to move those recommendations forward. And there's a few other recommendations in here that we'd love feedback on. And then we have off-street trails and other outdoor recreation and parks. So as part of that bike and pedestrian facilities discussion, we'll also talk about 4 different trail recommendations. 2 of which are definitely happening, or the KK River, I'm sure most of you are familiar with, is one of those, of course, and then a few other ones that we have developed through this process. There's also some general parks and trail recommendations, and park recommendations in particular to go and look at. And stormwater management, we've included stormwater management projects in the area. Of note, MMC and DPW are looking to identify some strategic locations in the area for integrating green infrastructure. And we recommend, of course, to include green infrastructure in any kind of road reconstruction project where it can happen. And then the last one is placemaking and art. So we've got a few ideas here, integrating play into streetscaping. There's some fun questions here as well, but really looking at how to pull out art and creating a sense of place and bringing that into our environments through different projects. All right, do we have any questions so far? A lot of people have joined. I'm glad to see you all here. Can't even keep track. There's a lot of familiar faces and names. It looks like Alderman Perez joined us. Do you want to say a few words? Maybe not.
No, I'm sorry. I just had a problem with my internet, but I'm glad to be here. And, I have very little bit of the 13th Street corridor going up to Cleveland where my district ends, but I think that there's a lot of synergy on both sides of Cleveland and want to make sure that we're sharing everything we need to on our end. It's a very vibrant corridor and want to be helpful and make sure that we're coordinating all our efforts. So just want to say thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, any other questions?